This entire week, we are looking at Psalm 23, an amazing section of Scripture that has brought comfort to so many people for so many generations. On week 1, we saw how Christ fulfills the purpose that is in your life. Yesterday, we saw how God rescues you when you're in need. And now today, we're going to look at verse 3. He restores my soul. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. If we don't have God guiding us, leading us in our lives, we're going to get stuck in the storms that are constantly surrounding us. I remember when I was in high school, I was driving home from work and a blizzard basically popped up out of nowhere. It had been snowing, but now the winds were whipping. It took me 2 hours to drive 10 miles home. Sure enough, I guessed wrong on a corner and went in the ditch and I got stuck. And no matter what I tried, I couldn't get myself unstuck in that horrible, dangerous storm that I was in. And maybe in your life right now, that feels like you. There's a storm that is raging around you, and no matter what you've tried, it just doesn't work. No matter how much effort that you've put in, you aren't making any headway. And that's what happened to me in my life. I went away from that car. I left the car. I did the exact thing you're not supposed to do because I tried to fix it. I walked to a farmhouse about 200 yards away. No one was home, and I had to go back to my car. The winds were so strong, I was crawling on the ice, praying and crying out to God, please save me. I know that I'm going to die if I don't get back to my car. And when I got back to my car, I was so exhausted, I fell asleep. I did the 2 things that you're never supposed to do in a storm because I tried to fix it myself. And if you try to fix the storm, no matter what that is, that's in your life by yourself right now, it's never going to work. It's just going to make things worse. The one thing I did right is that I prayed out to God and I cried out to God. And while I was asleep, I was awoken by this bright lights that poured in the car. I actually kind of thought I died, but I didn't. It was the next door neighbor who was searching for his daughter who also was in the ditch. With his mighty tractor, he pulled me out, he rescued me and set me on the pathway home. If you're stuck in a storm, cry out to God. Cry out to Jesus. And Psalm 23 verse 3 says, he will restore your soul. He'll forgive you of any hurt and any wrong and sin that you've done in your life as you cry out to him. And then he'll lead you on a pathway away from that old life into his mercy, further into his love. Without Christ leading you, you're going to get lost. You're going to go astray. When my neighbor left and went home to his farmhouse and I was driving further to where my parents lived, 50 yards, I was back in the ditch again. I had to have him, with the bright, powerful lights and the powerful tractor that he was, lead me home. Christ leads you home when you follow him and trust in him. So today, as you get going, please remember to just follow Christ, to cry out to him and to have him lead you through the storms of your day, and he will keep you safe and eventually bring you to your heavenly home. Tomorrow in our devotion, we'll look at verse 4 of Psalm 23, which is really misunderstood by a lot of people. They put the emphasis in the wrong place. I'm excited to share that message with you. Don't forget to hit subscribe and to hit the share button right below here to give this message to someone that you know is going through a storm in their life right now. Have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. The amazing and comforting words of Psalm 23. One of my favorite sections of Scripture, and I hope and pray that especially throughout this week it grows.